Good evening. I think I am audible to everyone. I welcome everyone to this webinar. I request everyone except speaker to please keep your microphones mute and videos off for the duration of the meeting. Any queries or comments that you have can be raised into the chat box that will be read out after the presentation when the discussions commences. Now we move on to a short video prepared by our students about the timeline of archaeological museum.
వచ్చేనా
Najmi ma'am.
I hope almost everyone is here. I welcome one and all to this webinar series, Careers in Archaeology, on the behalf of Archaeological Museum and Department of History. This webinar serves to educate our students as well as public about different career aspects of archaeology. Today, we have Mr. Vinuraj, Assistant Archaeologist, ASI Thrissur Circle with us. He has participated in several excavations and explorations inside and outside Kerala. He also has a number of publications in several reputed journals. I welcome Mr. Vinuraj to lead the section.
Thank you so much. So can we start now, like the presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So, myself, Vinuraj. I'm an assistant archaeologist at Archaeological Survey of India, Thrissur Circle. For the past 3 years, I have been working with ASI. I'm not an expert in guiding you because most of you know what are the possibilities of archaeology in India as well as abroad. So even I have not really checked the what are the career opportunities that are available to us before. So this is also my first attempt. So we can start. So can everyone see the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once again, uh, just to begin with, what is archaeology? What is the subject? What is the discipline that we need to know about archaeology as well? So we cannot broadly define or precisely say what archaeology is because there are many dimensions and many interpretations to archaeology, and it is not necessarily a single discipline. It is a multidisciplinary. It has a multidisciplinary approach. So archaeology, we can basically say that it is the study and preservation of material remains of humans in the past societies and the environment. So these remains can be any object that people created, modified, or used, and we just not only assess these artifacts and we just evaluate what the purpose of the artifact was and what how it related to human, how it served for humans, and how was the environment during that period. So in it is basically studying humans through every stage and by analyzing the artifacts that humans had created. So mainly archaeology has two major objectives. The first one is the reconstruction of past life, and also to explain the historical conditions that people had during the past, and what were the local settings, and on larger scale, what were the societies during the prehistoric and historic periods. And not only this, archaeology also aims to preserve the archaeological record in the landscape and in museums for further study and use for the future. So there is a way. There are different opinions regarding how archaeology developed into a discipline, how archaeology takes shape as a subject, and how it distinctively erased from history. So there are many different interpretations, many different viewpoints regarding the origin of archaeology. So it is connected with antiquarianism in the initial period. Antiquarianism, or the fascination for antiquities or artifact collection, uh, has the origin of archaeology as well. So the early artifact collectors or antiquarians were regarded as the early archaeologists as well. So once we study about early archaeology, we can see that it is not just archaeology. It is connected with many other sciences, many other disciplines as well, primarily which have a connection with the evolution of man. So the development of archaeology as a separate or distinctive division or discipline starts with the Renaissance movement, where there is an awakening of art, philosophy, and culture from 14th to 17th century CE, basically in Europe. So during this period, the art, the history the past and the antiquities that man had were given most importance. So the culture also were evaluated on the basis of the artistic expressions of man. So this period also is coincided with the collection of antiquities and the preservation of the same, and like projecting them as a social status. So the Renaissance movement definitely has a impact in the origin of archaeology. So this trend of antiquarianism that started in the Renaissance movement has even has continued since then, and has reached its peak in 16th and 17th century CE. In 1586, John Leland and Camden published Britannia, which is a study of the historical monuments in Britain. So further leading on, then we have a Society for Preservation of Monuments in England in 1572, and by 17th century CE, like we have the origin of field archaeology, and followed by that in 18th century CE, we can see the development of natural sciences. In 1738, Pompeii was excavated. Pompeii, which very well known site. In 1784, the first systematic excavation was conducted by Thomas Jefferson on a native American mound. In 1817, the National Museum of Antiquities in Copenhagen started. So this also gave a new dimension, like displaying of objects, displaying of artifacts. So the starting of this museum has a whole a different meaning when it comes to archaeology. In 1839, the Origin of Species was published by Charles Darwin, which deals with the evolution of human our race. From 1850 to 1900, there several archaeological sites were discovered, several archaeological excavations were conducted, systematic techniques were emerged, and by 1870, we can see the development of classical archaeology. By the late 19th century CE itself, we can see how archaeology evolved as a separate discipline, and followed by the innovations of aerial photography, radiocarbon dating. Subsequently, all these innovations, all this development, all the research work, and the curiosity that people had in archaeology developed timely. And by 1950s, we could see the rise of several archaeological departments in universities. Also, governments giving importance to archaeological monuments. Several legislations were created as a heritage sector were created, which was neglected in previous times. So several laws and legislations were came to protect and preserve the archaeological record of places and countries. So from 1960s, we could see the beginning of new archaeology, or also known as the processual archaeology. One major important change during this period was the combination, the culmination of the modern archaeology from the traditional archaeological concepts, and the use of more scientific hypotheses and more uh, different techniques in archaeology. Also, we could experience from the last decades of 20th century. So there's before choosing archaeology, one should know several things. Uh, why should I select archaeology as my study, as my discipline? Why should I go on and work as an archaeologist? What is the most exciting thing in archaeology? So before going into that, we should know what are the factors that we have to consider before choosing archaeology as a subject that we have to pursue for our higher studies. So first, we have to understand the work culture, because archaeology is not a usual 9 to 5 job. It has several duties. It is not necessarily a desk based job. You will have to travel a lot. You will have to explore a lot of things. You may have to remain in the field for more than 6 or 7 months. So all these factors must be understood when we come to archaeology. The academic training is the most important thing. Just because you have a degree in archaeology does not necessarily mean that you will be efficient, you will be an archaeologist having all the skills. The training during the pursuing of archaeological degree is very important. So academic training also, we needed academic training also. And one of the most important things that everyone should know is that we have limited opportunities in the field of archaeology. And whatever the opportunities we have higher competition as well. So this is also one of the important things. Just having a normal archaeology degree or normal postgraduate degree does not like really ensure you a job in the field of archaeology. You should have higher qualification. You should have academic work. You should have published articles or published works in order to like excel yourself in among others who have a similar qualification. So I do not say that all the other fields are very prosperous or something. Like in every field there is competition. In every field there are limited opportunities. So what we can do is excel in your field, and then you can overcome all these difficulties. And as I said, it will not fit into the the criteria of a normal job. It is not a desk based job. It is not a usual job. So you will have to prepare yourself before becoming an archaeologist, that you have to like do these sort of things to fit into this space, and the challenges are associated with it also needs to be considered. So there are different branches within archaeology. um, Many of you know what are the different branches, like historical archaeology, maritime, epigraphy, museology, numismatics, heritage studies. So the differences in the fields within archaeology means that there are different opportunities for all these different branches within archaeology, and there are different qualification for them also. You may have a necessary degree, but after that you can specialize yourself in these fields, in different fields, and you can master yourself in this field to get opportunities in that particular area. To pursue a career in archaeology, a postgraduate degree in archaeology is very essential. Many institutions and universities in India have dedicated archaeological department which offers postgraduate degree, MPhil, and PhD courses in archaeology. So what you have to do is you have to, after completing your 12th or plus two, you can opt for a degree in archaeology. But the colleges offering this exclusive degree in archaeology are very rare. In many colleges, what I have seen, archaeology has been introduced as a subject along with history. So archaeology itself have like very rare opportunities when it comes to the undergraduate programs. Recently, there are many universities and colleges which are starting archaeology as a undergraduate degree, so that is very good. So, however, more than 50 universities in India offers postgraduate degree in archaeology. The Institute of Archaeology in New Delhi under Archaeological Survey of India is a dedicated institute offering a postgraduate diploma in archaeology, and the postgraduate diploma in archaeology is one of the best courses that we can get to study in archaeology. You can do it after your post graduation. You may not necessarily have a post graduation in archaeology itself. You can have a degree in geology or like in languages or history. Also, you can apply for the this course, just because the course involves extensive field work, excavation trainings, workshop, and so on. So the postgraduate diploma in archaeology is one of the most remarked and one of the most renowned courses for the archaeological discipline in India. So, in a nutshell, after 12th, in 12th, you can opt for any stream to become an archaeologist. But when you're doing your undergraduate degree, you should have a BA or BSc. And then after that, you can apply for master's degree or the PG diploma. So the only thing that we have to remember is that A degree in archaeology does not necessarily mean that it should bring you a job in archaeology also. The practical experience, the research experience, and the field experience are very essential to progress beyond your basic qualification. So next we comes to the job part. What archaeologists do and where they work. So, like we have the work of archaeology is composed of many different things. It is not necessarily that you are an archaeologist, you should do only one thing or nothing like that. You can like opt for many different things. There are many different ways archaeology functions. So you can do the research work. You can go for excavations and explorations and collect the data from sites and later interpret them and publish your work. Also, there are dedicated archaeologists who are better conservationists. So they take care of the monuments and site, and essentially the heritage management also, which has now been developing very quickly and very rapidly as a profession in India. And also we have archaeological museums, so you can be museum curators, you can be museum guides. So in this regard also there is very good opportunity. One of the most important thing in archaeology is the teaching and research. As I said, there are many departments in universities for teaching archaeology. So these departments mostly were established during the 20th century. But in the initial phase, they were often linked to social anthropology or geography or history. But during the last few decades, we can see that archaeology has been becoming more autonomous departments. Many autonomous archaeological departments have been coming into picture in the last few decades, which is due to the expanding needs for archaeologists during the last generation. So not only research, not only this. Many archaeologists are like those who work in Archaeological Survey of India also deals with the organization and administration parts, so which is an interesting part also. So basically, we can sort out the type or the nature of duties into four. Like first is recording. Recording means an excavation, surveying, or photography. Then comes to preservation. Whatever things recovered or whatever things recorded needs to be preserved and needs to be kept into museums. And next part is interpretation and teaching, because what the things that we have collected, we have recorded. What if leave that, and what if we dump that place to some? What if we dump that artifacts into some place and we don't know necessarily think about it or research about it? That is not like the way we do it. Once you have the artifact, once you have the antiquities, you should study about it. You should relate the things with other cultures. You should relate the things with other places and find out the comparison. Whether it is a distinctive thing, whether it originated here itself, whether it had any connections with other communities. And artifacts, are essentially the links that connect different cultures, different civilization, and different places. So an archaeologist, the job of an archaeologist is to find out that links, find out the origins, and find interpreting the data that we records. Next comes the presentation. Whatever data we have recorded, we have interpreted, that should be available to public also. So in that case, we have museums, we have visitor centers, we have media, books, internet, and so on. So we should make those things available to public also. In broad terms, the job categories are four types: the commercial archaeological jobs, research or academic archaeology, public or community archaeology, or specialist archaeology. So, as I said, the frameworks for each of these institutions will be different, and that is dependent upon the way they interact. So, and also the employment features in the field of archaeology differs from countries to countries. In one country, the set of laws, legislation, and the rules and the setup that is linking the archaeological field would be different than those of another country. So, when the geographical or the boundaries change, the like the roles of archaeologists also often changes. So, in the 2012-13 profiling the profession survey shows that the majority of the archaeologists, like 59% of the archaeologists, are employed in commercial private sector. I'm talking the scenario of Britain only. This is not the case with India. So in local governments, there are 10% of archaeologists, total archaeologists are employed. In university departments, 14% are employed. And national heritage agencies, 11% are employed. And in the 6% total archaeologists are employed in other organizations. As I said, the archaeologists are being constantly and increasingly employed in companies, tourist organizations, and so on. This shows the development of archaeological heritage into society. This division of labor has made necessary by the growth of archaeology and society. What I'm trying to say is that uh, the nature and the criteria and the purpose of archaeological job is very different. There are a lot of different activities involved when we come to uh, like uh, when we come to the job of an archaeologist. There are desk-based assessment. You should plan yourself first. What you are going to do. What are the paperwork needed? What are the things we need to take care of even beginning of the survey or the exploration or the excavation, and what are the necessary things we have to do research about. So there are a lot of desk-based assessment, and when it comes to the field, you have to go for surveys. You have to make topographic analysis, GPS surveys, and then do excavations, a photography of the same, recording of the same, having detailed notes and drawings, and then once you have finished your excavation, then you are analyzing the things that you have got from excavation, and subsequently you're writing reports and detailing of the results and the surveys and the excavation that you carried out. You're writing reports for all of them, and then after that, whatever things you have analyzed, you have interpreted, you have written a report about, you should conserve it and you should preserve it, be it a metal thing or a wooden, leather, or any other fragile object. You should conserve it for the posterity of the future, and should display and curate it in museums. So there are many different ways to do all of these things, and archaeology, as I said, is becoming rapidly modernizing. And there are computer designs also to the core and archaeological excavation. So that has always all been made very easy, fairly easy, as we compared to 2 decades back. So, what are the skills needed to become an archaeologist? That is also needs to be checked. So, any person who doesn't have a passion for the subject I think, cannot survive in archaeology. Having a mere qualification or even having a job as an archaeologist, and then you don't like it, you don't want to do continue it. So that doesn't make sense. First, you should have a you should have a passion for the subject. It's not archaeology is not like a normal professional course. It is very different. It has a human touch. It has a link to the past. So you should be very much interested in the subject. Other than that, have even if you have good qualifications, you cannot invest yourself in archaeology. So next, you should have good qualifications. Having just a degree in archaeology doesn't necessarily grant you anything. After having your degree, you should try for other degrees like MPhil or PhD, even postdoctoral, and then you should opt to work as trainings, and also you should have a scientific and technical expertise, experiences and expertise, field experience. You should know how to use computers, and also, archaeology, as I said, the subject has an interdisciplinary approach. With just archaeology, we cannot do anything. It is very much linked to history, geology, sciences. So all those things we should also consider these things, and we should also have skills in these. Not I'm not meaning that you should know all of these things, but you should at least know what are the applications of the other disciplines in archaeology, and how we can utilize them, and how we can utilize them to get the results that we want. So that sort of things also needs to be understood. For that, there are specialist postgraduate courses, there are certificate courses and diploma courses and short-term courses. Many courses are available for conservation, for numismatics, for heritage management, for zoo archaeology, for museum studies, marine archaeology, GIS. So all these specialist courses are there that we can excel after getting a postgraduate degree in archaeology, and we can get training for these courses also, and we can use these courses into the mainstream archaeology to do different things. So, as an archaeologist, you can be placed as many things, like you can be academic archaeologist, you can be epigraphist, you can be conservator, archivist, you can be a field technician, you can be a geo archaeologist, you can be a museum man. So all these, there are different types and different categories of categories available, which available to in the field of archaeology. And also in the context of laboratories, there are, as I said, it is very much a scientific discipline. So the science has a lot of applications in archaeology, like botany, ceramics, DNA, geology, lithic, faunal and floral assessment. So all these things all these sciences also have an application in the field of archaeology. Um, Next, we come to the career opportunities part that we have in India. As you guys know, and then initially I said that there are very limited opportunities for archaeologists. So that started with the establishment of Archaeological Survey of India. Then archaeology emerged as a profession. If you analyze the early journals of Archaeological Survey, be it Archaeological Survey of India or the epigraphy or any historical or archaeological journals that we have in the 20th century, there are not the writers or the people that used to conduct archaeological research. They were not necessarily archaeologists. There were many historians who were doing archaeological research also. But from 1950 onwards, we can definitely say that India has a lot of archaeologists having professional qualifications. So the response to archaeological research in India in the early decades of the 20th century, that was subsequent to discovery of several archaeological sites and monuments across the subcontinent, which attracted several scholars to this field. So once you have the positive word of mouth for archaeology, once you are successful in uh, creating a passion among people for archaeology, soon they will attract to archaeology. So that was basically happening. There were rapid increase in the number of archaeologists in the country, along with the establishment of several archaeological departments in the universities, and also after the establishment of several archaeological departments by the state governments. So these archaeological departments also boosted the growth of archaeological research in India. Archaeological Survey of India, as I said, it is the largest institution where you can find the most archaeologists employed in the nation. It is a government agency, Indian government agency attached to the Ministry of Culture, that is responsible for the archaeological research and the conservation and preservation of cultural monuments in the country. So besides it, regulate all the archaeological activities in the country as per the provisions of the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958 and the Art Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972. As I said, the ISA or the Archaeological Survey of India regulates all the archaeological activities in the country. Basically, it is like what I mean is that if you have to conduct an excavation or exploration, you should definitely have a license issued by the Archaeological Survey of India. If you don't have a license, that is illegal. For collection of artifacts, also for keeping the antiquities, also you should have a license issued by the Archaeological Survey of India. So otherwise, if you don't have this set of license that are being issued by Archaeological Survey of India, you are very much doing an illegal work. So the provisions of ancient monuments and the so-called AMSR Act also speaks and gives some supreme powers to the Archaeological Survey of India to regulate the archaeological research in the country. So ASA was founded in 1861 by Alexander Cunningham, who was also the first Director General of ASA. As of this date, ASA has more than 3,600 monuments spread across the Indian subcontinent, and it is the largest archaeological institution in India with a staff capacity of more than 5,000. When I say 5,000, I don't mean that all the 5,000 posts are filled to be archaeologists. The posts that are open to archaeologists are very much limited in ASA also. So the recruitment agencies that recruit archaeologists for exhibition and UPSC, which is the Union Public Service Commission. So uh, the SSC recruitment for the posts of assistant archaeologist, which is comes in which comes as the entry post for the archaeologist in ASA, and the UPSC conducts recruiting archaeologists, which is accepted level post in ASA. So within Archaeological Survey of India itself, there are different divisions and branches. Like the Archaeological Survey of India has a total of 35 circles, including the Thrissur circle where I am presently working. Six circles I read from the newspapers. There are six excavation branches. We have one excavation branch based at Mysore, which is Southern Excavation Branch, which is responsible for conducting excavation activities in the southern states. Then we have horticultural branches. We have one prehistory branch headquartered at Nagpur. We have epigraphical branches for both Sanskrit, Arabic, and Dravidian divisions. We have building survey projects. We have temple survey projects. Then comes the science branch, antiquity collection, library, and we have a Institute of Archaeology, as I mentioned earlier, which is based at Delhi, Noida. We have a customs branch, and most excitingly, we have ISA also have a one underwater archaeology. So, um, so the volume of archaeologists working in ASI or Archaeological Survey of India, known as the archaeological cadre, that belongs to a total of 8 categories, beginning from assistant archaeologist, having a total of 178 sanctioned posts. Then we can come to the assistant superintending archaeologist, deputy archaeologist, superintending archaeologist. So all these posts that we are talking about is open to those having a postgraduate degree in archaeology. Then if you have experiences or a PG diploma in archaeology, you can apply for the entry post and for the higher post also. So the recruitment to the post of archaeologist is not just limited to people having PG degree in archaeology. Even if you have a PG degree in history or geology, you can also apply for the post of archaeology, because both these three disciplines are very much interlinked, and the services of these three divisions are very much needed for ASA also. So if you're having postgraduate degrees in these three subjects also, these three subjects you can apply for ASA. So what are the basic duties for the archaeologists who are working in ASA? It is composed of conducting village to village surveys, which are the explorations and excavations and site management, and also the related work, which basically I'm saying that there are 3,600 monuments. There are prohibited and regulated areas of a monument. So any construction in the prohibited and regulated area of a monument is to be with the sanction or permission of the competent authority or NMA. So that sort of work also is being looked after by the archaeologist. And you have to do a lot of site inspection. Suppose if someone found an inscription someone found like a megalithic burial site, if they have informed you office that I have found this and that. So what you do is that once you like found out which is the exact place or the location of the site, you can go for and conduct for a go for an site inspection. You can explore the area, and if the site is work for protection, then uh, you can opt for the protection of the site or the monument. Then we have a museums, like I say, have a total of 53 museums. So archaeologists have worked there also. And the major duties among archaeologists is to conduct cultural awareness. So we can twice in a year we conduct cultural awareness programs in World Heritage Day and World Heritage Week. So through these things, ASA tries to create awareness among people regarding the protection of heritage, regarding the value of archaeological heritages in the nation. Also, it comes with the research documentation and administrative matters. Apart from archaeological service, there are many state archaeology departments. Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and many other states also have a state archaeology department. I don't have the full list. In many state archaeology departments, they also offer for entry posts for the archaeologists like technical assistants, excavation assistant, museum and gallery assistants. There are curators, documentation officers, directors, numismatists, research assistant, and archaeological officers. So, not necessarily ASA, but you can have a you can get a government job in other state archaeology department also. And then we can come to the universities. So there are approximately 50 universities and colleges. I'm not necessarily uh, know whether the number is true or not, but there are many universities and colleges in India and they offer different courses in archaeology like BA, MA, MA in Ancient Indian History and Archaeology, diplomas, PG diplomas, and also research degrees like MPhil, PhD, and certificate courses also. So in universities, you can get a job as an assistant professor, laboratory staffs, research assistants, excavation trainees, and during the post-independent period, if you see for the last 2 or 3 decades, you can see a lot of archaeologists getting employed in the university. And another area is the museum. There are hundreds of archaeological museums and site museums across India. As I said, the 53 museums, site museums, are only with the Archaeological Survey of India only. So there are many states that are having archaeological museums, both run by the government, also by the private. So the museum and heritage industry is very diverse. It provides visitor service, marketing, and means for educating people and interpreting people the different artifacts that were associated with the past. And it is a very much museums have good outreach and good chances for conducting research as well. In museums, we can be employed as curators, museum assistants, or the directors, and so there are dedicated museum institutes in India also. So you can also work in that places. And private sector, I would not say it is by far not the largest in India, but it is an emerging area that needs to be focused more. There are private sectors, there are many NGOs, many trusts, many societies, many site management operators and consultant, and there are many chances in the heritage tourism sector also, as you can see, is emerging as a very good area where like tourism and heritage and archaeology combined and serves for the purpose of those who visiting our nation. So, um, when we come to the last part, what could be the attractions of being an archaeologist in India? Well, it is a very much research-oriented area, very much research-oriented field. So, whatever you do, there is a research aspect in it. So, so that is one of the major attraction I feel as an archaeologist. and it is a distinctive profession, as I earlier pointed out. It is not a normal job, so it has a very much differences uh, than the other and other jobs than archaeologists. And then you have a work satisfaction if you find something, if you excavate, if you go and explore, you travel and explore. That satisfaction is something very different, as in the case of my experience. Um, with the advantages, there are also lacuna. The lacuna is the very limited opportunities, especially in India. I'm not speaking about other countries like in Europe, in USA. There are good opportunities for archaeologists, but in India there is a high the opportunities that we are available in India are very limited, and for that also there is a very strict, very high competition. And archaeology, for the last 10 decades, have does not have an non-independent existence. No, does not have an independent existence. It is very much linked to other subjects. So the influence of other subjects into the job opportunities of archaeologists also creates a problem for finding jobs once you finish archaeology. So another problem is the lower wages compared to the academic qualification. As in the case of archaeologists, there are many archaeologists who are postgraduates, who have PhD degree, who have postdoctoral degrees, but they are paid very less when you compare to their educational qualification. This is because the entry level post always have lower wages, so the promotion or the career prospects in this field is very limited. So that creates a lacuna in the system. How we can improve for the betterment of archaeology is to get the support of government in creating more posts and creating more opportunities for the young generation, and academic collaborations and establishment of more institutions focusing on archaeology will have an important change, the public and private participation also. And one thing you have to do is to improve your skills and knowledge, and to focus more on the academic effort to keep gaining experience. So all these things will personally create a merit on you over the others. So these things also needs to be taken care of. And finally, we should have the willingness to always focus on the research side, on the academic side, in order to have a better career or a better future in archaeology. So thank you so much. Uh, this is I'm not sure how many of you have uh, got an awareness regarding this, because it is the very first time I am also thinking and doing something in this manner. Apart from, once I have got the job, I have I think I forgot about what the career opportunity, because once you will be have an archaeological job, you'll be so much so busy in getting to know the job and doing the job in reality. So after that, I think if you take time and if you think about archaeology and how the field that we can improve upon, the field that we can create opportunities, that should be very good.
So there are some questions in chat box. I'll read it
Oh,
out one by one. First question is from Sumana Das. When we are pursuing MA, is there any opportunity to get experience in fieldwork or something that will help in our career to secure our job?
yes, sure. Because like even I think you're asking about MA in archaeology. Uh, MA in archaeology is not archaeology. MA is not is like what we have in history or what we have in other subjects. It is a very much field oriented degree. You should have a mandatory training experiences. You should have field experience. The universities itself will provide the field experience. I studied in the University of Kerala, so in the Department of Archaeology. So what I could remember is that in 1 year, like we used to conduct many explorations, excavations, not just in Kerala but also outside Kerala, in Gujarat, and in other states also. So. So in the period of MA itself, you will get a lot of field experience, and after once you complete your MA, then whatever excavations, there are many excavations going on, and many times the excavation, those who conduct excavation needs people as their interns or as their research assistants. So uh, there are very good opportunities for students to participate in excavations, participate in explorations. You can go and explore yourself. You can take a subject, you can do research upon it, you can publish purpose. So this subject does not create a hindrance from doing anything. It is very much open. You can go around and you can find places and you can work. So that is quite the beauty of archaeology. So yeah, next. Oh, the with the helping securing a job. Yeah, sure. How the more you have experience, more you have field experience, the better it is. Yes.
Sir, next question is from Maumida Masumda. There's two questions from that name. First question is it necessary to have a PG diploma in archaeology from Institute of Archaeology so as to get a job into Archaeological Survey of India?
No,
And next
no.
question from her is how do we apply for a job in ASI?
Okay, okay. The first question is it necessary to have a PG diploma in archaeology for getting a job in Archaeological Survey of India? No, it is not necessary. First of all, you should have a postgraduate degree in history, geology, or archaeology. That is it. That's it. For getting the job of assistant archaeologist, you should have a postgraduate degree in history, archaeology, or geology. Apart from that, you don't even need to have an experience for applying for a job in Archaeological Survey of India, because in the it is not evaluated in that sense. And for the entry level, I'm saying this for the entry level, and for the next course, which is the deputy superintending archaeologist, you should have a PG diploma. That is necessary for a deputy superintending archaeologist. But that for the beginning, you even if you don't have the PG diploma, you have the PG diploma, that does not make a difference. Once you will be in the service, I think you can naturally apply for the PG diploma, and I think you can get it. And how do we apply for a job in ASA? As I pointed out, there are two recruitment agencies who recruit like people for Archaeological Survey of India, and they are Staff Selection Commission and UPSC. Staff Selection Commission recruits for assistant archaeologist, and the last was I think 2017 and 2019. In 2019, while they were calling, there were total of 68 posts. So you can apply online through SSC for the job, and the only qualification you require is a postgraduate diploma in either in archaeology, geology, or history. Okay.
Okay, sir. Next question is from Deepthi PV. What are the scope of marine archaeology in India?
It is a field that is very much improving. For my PhD, I took the subject of evolution of maritime trade from Kollam, Kerala. So while we are checking the maritime trade or the marine or the underwater archaeology, there are very limited institutions in India who like conducts these sort of investigations. One among which is ASA, and ASA has conducted investigations, marine investigations in Dwarka, Gujarat. Apart from ASA, there is a National Institute of Oceanography, Goa, which conducts regular like investigations in marine archaeology. Apart from few institutions, there are very limited opportunities for marine archaeology in India. But we know that India has a very vast, very long sea coast. So many different archaeological sites are buried. Many shipwrecks are buried inside the ocean. So marine archaeology has a scope for development in India. I think in the coming future also it will develop. Next.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is from Susan Nguyen. Sir, can you please share your experience as an archaeologist?
It is very difficult to say within 1 minute or 2 minutes, but it is a very exciting job. You will never get yourself bored as an archaeologist. Like what I am doing now in the circles of ASA, you will probably have more office works, but that comes along with the field work also. So when I prefer more field work than the office work, regular work. So when you're in the field, you will definitely feel very good. So that is very good about being an archaeologist. You can be in field, you can conduct excavations and exploration, so which will go for a very long period also. So that sort of excitement having in your job is very good. So that yeah, that is. Next.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Tarun George Philip. Can you expound a bit on numismatics or numismatic studies as a career opportunity in archaeology?
Yeah, when you go to a particular archaeology department, which having PG degree, MA degree in archaeology, you can check the syllabus and all these things, numismatics, epigraphy, or part of the syllabus of archaeology. So there are very limited institutions who like only focuses on archaeology. Numismatics. So numismatics is a part of archaeology that after your post graduation or after your PG degree, or you can opt for doing research in numismatics. So it is a very good like area, but I think only the Kerala State Archaeology Department has a post called Research Assistant in Numismatics. I don't know whether any other state departments or have it, but Archaeological Survey of India does not have a post named numismatics. It is an area where you can develop a lot. It is an area where you can do a lot of research, but it comes under the purview of archaeology. So there are not a separate career for numismatics in archaeology.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Varun V. From where did you do your post-graduation?
I did my post-graduation from University of Kerala Department of Archaeology, which is located in Thiruvananthapuram. I have also done MPhil and PhD from the same university.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Debashruti Datta. Sir, do we have to do PhD? Is there any training center where we can train ourselves in excavations or in museum works?
First question: do we have to do PhD? If you are willing to do PhD, you can. You should not approach PhD with the intention that having a PhD is very glorious to me or nothing like that. If you are if you genuinely want to do research, if you genuinely wants to know about facts and to do something different, you can always go for PhD. And PhD definitely helps in increasing the potential for getting a job. That is sure. So there is no harm in doing PhD. Even if you don't have PhD, that is not a necessary qualification for most of the posts that have archaeology. But for the professor of getting placement in the universities, if you have PhD, that then more chances are there. Then if we can train ourselves in excavation and museum works. So from my knowledge, many excavations that are going on, many universities and from other places also, there are many excavations which needs people. So if you have the circles closer to Archaeological Survey of India or in universities, we can talk to them. We can send your CV to them and to participate in the excavations. So in museum also, I think many museums in India provides internship. So you can go like that also. Next.
From Ansu Mani, what is the scope of computational archaeology, IT plus archaeology in India?
It is it for the past I think 1 decade archaeology and IT has become inseparable. Many whatever the work we do have to do a lot of analytical work, a lot of interpretation, a lot of scientific comparisons also. For that purpose, and one of the most emerging archaeological field is the GIS archaeology, where we have to plot the data into the maps to compare the details and to get the final results. So, IT and archaeology are two integral components. We cannot separate them now. We can definitely opt for a traditional path, but I personally prefer more the use of IT in archaeological field.
Thank you. So next, two more questions. This question from Alisha Paul. Conservation, restoration, and site management are interdisciplinary fields. How does one go about pursuing such a niche? Does it require a science background?
Conservation, restoration, and site management. No, not necessarily. Even in ASA, the conservation part is being done by the persons designated as conservation assistants, or there is a separate conservation being. All you have to do is to look after them. What are the work they are doing, and the archaeologists themselves are the authorities who grant their estimates or their proposals for undertaking conservation work. So you can definitely throw your ideas when the conservation is there. Many times, the basic principles of conservation is that you should not harm the present structure. You should not create a new structure. So if archaeologist doesn't have a control over conservation, it the then I don't think it may be turned out as a conservation. It may be turned out as a new construction. So the archaeological influence on conservation is very important. And site management, that is a good question. Many archaeologists in India are now employed in site management. There are many private institutions, private agencies that are coming with ideas for taking over sites like Delhi, Red Fort, and so on. There are many institutions that are coming with the plans and proposals to for the more effective site management. So in the site management field also, archaeologists have a good future. So even if you don't have a much science background, I think you will definitely survive because in the syllabus of the archaeology itself, conservation is there. So you are definitely learning about conservation when you are doing MA. You're just applying it once you have a job. That's a difference. And both these things are inseparable things. So you cannot really say you should have a science background. Next.
We have limited time.
No.
I hope everyone.
Okay. And if you have any doubt, you can contact me. I will provide my.
I think the two have raised hands. Two of the participants wanted to ask something. First one, Divya PD. If she's around, then please ask her to ask one last question.
Okay, Miss. Okay.
I would like to answer few. There are, I think,
Yes.
only two or three questions. I will answer it very fast. And from Varun, I think this is the next question. What percentage of our past has already been excavated? What is the future of archaeology in Indian context? I believe there is only 1 or 2 or 3% of past has been excavated. Not even 1%. So the future of archaeology is all the posts that are filled by SSC in Archaeological Survey of India does not even have a question in archaeology. If you have 100 questions, you will not get one single question on archaeology. You will get the questions from the CGL or what the SSC competitive exams are. So with archaeology, you should also prepare for these competitive exams. So after completing because recently Archaeological Survey of India has a proposed restructuring where there are many new posts are going to come out within 2 years or 3 years. Like I believe 100 posts will be called up for recruitment in the coming 2 or 3 years. So what you should do is that with your post graduation in history or archaeology or geology, you should also you should also do a little bit of time to give a little bit of time to the training in competitive exams also. So that will be effective and useful once the recruitment is happening. And once you will have the degree, you will have the qualification, and also the data or the efficiency to compete in this exams also, because the people applying for the post will be very limited. There will last time when 68 posts were called, hardly 2,000, 3,000 applications were there. So that is a very good figure. And ultimately, the exam was written only by 950 people. So out of which 68 people were selected. So if you focus on that way, that will be good. So like if you start your SSC training for at least 1 hour a day, that will be very good. So I think I have answered all. Utkarsh Rai speaking says that what are job opportunities other than becoming a professor? So there are many job opportunities. I think I have listed so many of them. So if you go through that, you can definitely find the answer. Okay, so
Okay. Okay, we can conclude. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Due to some technical issues, the video was not visible earlier, so I'm sorry for that. Uh, so we can move to vote of thanks. For that, I welcome our student coordinator, Ranjit P.S. Ranjit, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, all. As all good things come to an end in life, so is the webinar. On behalf of the UCC Archaeological Museum, Department of History, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this seminar on careers in archaeology. At the outset, I thank our chief guest and resource person, Mr. Vinuraj B., Assistant Archaeologist, Thrissur Circle, ASI. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank Principal of UC College, Dr. Reina Rachel Philip, and Research Department of History, Ms. Judy, Dr.